everyone, what's up? My name is Kaylee and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be telling you about my top 5 TV shows in 2015. So my favorite 5 TV shows and also my favorite character from each TV show. But before I get started, I just wanted to mention that there's a lot of horrible things going on right now, and I feel like that needs to be brought up because I'm bringing up something so happy, and I feel like I should still acknowledge the fact that there are horrible things going on right now and just show support for Paris and Lebanon and Japan and Bangladesh and all the things that are happening right now, that just to tell you guys to be aware of what's going on, educate yourselves, because something really needs to be, it's a topic that really needs to be talked about. So I felt like I needed to acknowledge that before I got into something so goofy and something so trivial, that something serious had to be said about these topics. So that's just me throwing that in there. But yeah, I'll get started with my top 5 TV shows. So the one that comes to mind the most is Rick and Morty. I love that show. There's a couple Cartoon Network shows on my list, and I'm a kid at heart, I guess. But I feel like the show is more for like late teens, early 20s, 30s kind of crowd anyway. I'm not really a sci-fi fan to begin with, but Rick and Morty have definitely converted me, I'd say. So I'm definitely more open to sci-fi because of it. The humor is awesome. My favorite character is obviously Rick because he's awesome. I never thought that you could take such a despicable character on paper, like alcoholic, doesn't care about his family, super narcissistic, almost, yeah, just genius. It just, all those characteristics you'd think like evil genius, like an evil character in a superhero movie, but it's completely the opposite. He's like the anti-hero of the show, and I just love him so much. My favorite part of that show was, so far, is the Tiny Rick episode. That's my all-time favorite episode. So yeah, that's my favorite one for Rick and Morty. The last episode, the finale, I can't even explain how much that I was pretty much almost brought to tears. When the Nine Inch Nails cover of Johnny Cash came on, I literally like had a lump in my throat. It was just the best episode that could have happened to me. So all-time favorite in the entire world, Rick and Morty. I'm so excited to see what they do with it. And okay, so I have them all written down, but I don't even have to look for number 2. Basically, Adventure Time comes close second, Rick and Morty. The only reason why it didn't get number 1 for me was because it isn't as gritty. So it has a lot of other like really existential or also just like really profound meaning slipped into, like, almost, I feel like that's more of a kid show than Rick and Morty. It's more like aimed 12 to 20 almost, I'd say. And little kids can appreciate it too, so it's pretty much for everyone. But I think that there's lots of like hidden things that just warm your heart with that show as well, more so than Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty's more funny, satirical, but Adventure Time really warms the heart and makes you more idealistic, I feel like. I'll just get into my favorite character of that show, which is Jake. I think you could have guessed that as well. Jake is awesome. I love how he stretches. I love his sense of humor. I love how he loves sandwiches. I really, truly like Jake. Jake's one of my favorite all-time characters, second after Rick, out of all time. So that's my number 2. Number 3 would definitely be Vikings. That's on the History Channel. I am a history buff. I take history in university. I'm doing ancient history and classical studies, and the next 2 shows that I'm going to mention really show that's my interest in general. So Vikings, even though it's not historically correct at all, and I kind of question why history would have been the one to do it, I can kind of see why they would. But it's a lot more high budget than I thought History Channel could do. It's more of like a HBO type of show, and I'm in love. Like, I'm in so love with this show. Non-cartoon wise, my favorite show. You never know what's going to happen, even though it's historical. That's the other thing, that since it's not historical, it could really go in any direction. Like, it's not going with what was actually happening, because there's not a lot of written records at that time, and we don't know a lot about the Vikings actually. So Ragnar is also like, the story of Ragnar is like folklore and things like that, so it has some historical relevance. But I'm just gonna get into my favorite character, which is Lagertha, and I love this show because they have the strongest female lead out of most shows on right now. The thing about the Viking culture is that the women were able to fight alongside the men, and it really shows in Lagertha, and I think that she's the most relatable character, to be honest, and level-headed, smart. Yeah, just all around, just really relatable character. She's burned because Ragnar has another wife, and you get to see like what it's like to be replaced, but then she's also a figure in her own, and somebody as big and a king as Ragnar, everyone, who's the main character of the show, everyone respects him so much, but she's able to get almost that same level. Being a woman at that time is just profound. So Lagertha is definitely my favorite character, and I think she's Canadian, so that's awesome. And second favorite character is definitely Floki, I think his name is, and it's like Loki is a god of mischief pretty much, and it kind of reflects that character. So he's my second favorite, but Lagertha really overshadowed him by far. So I'm really excited to see where that show's going as well, because since it's not historically accurate, anything could happen. And I think that's coming out soon, so I'm on the tip of my toes waiting for the show to come back on. Okay, and so that brings me to number 4. So my my fourth favorite show is Doctor Who, and I think most people are Doctor Who fans. Another sci-fi that I didn't think I would get into, but I started watching it because it was on Netflix and I was hooked. I won't say who my favorite Doctor is because I honestly don't know. I haven't watched the first one, so I can't have any kind of knowledge on that, so I'm not comfortable enough to say which Doctor is my favorite, but David Tennant really is getting close to the top vote for me. But overall, my favorite character would definitely have to be Rose, because she is, it's hard to explain. She's close to almost being a chav, what you consider a chav, or like in American or Canadian terms, like a low income person. She's the underdog almost. She isn't, she's not like any of the other companions where they're a school teacher or a doctor or something else like of that sort. She's literally coming from a pretty much broken home, and she meets the Doctor and it changes her life. And I think that her emotional, she's in touch with her emotions, and it's not made into a way where it's looked down upon for being feminine. It's definitely adds to the dynamic of the whole series. So Rose is definitely one of my favorite characters on that show. So yeah, and that leaves me with number 5, my last show of this video, and that has to be Game of Thrones. And I love that show, but it's number 5 because I'm not really liking where they're taking the story versus the book, because I have read the book, and I think that happens with most people that read books and then watch the movie or the show, and they're always extra critical about it. I mean, I've read The Hunger Games and I'm having that kind of feelings towards the movie as well. So yeah, I also have a qualm with the way that they're portraying female characters in Game of Thrones, because they seem more like victims than they do in the book. So I mean, except for a few characters like Daenerys and I can't remember her name, but she's the youngest female Stark. Arya, yeah, sorry, slipped my mind. So who do I think is gonna win Game of Thrones? Who I'm hoping for? I really don't know. I'm hoping Daenerys wins because I feel like she's the most nurturing out of all of them, so that maybe most people will be free and be able to have autonomy and, be close to what we have nowadays, like civilization that is based on economy and prosperity instead of warfare and hunger and famine and stealing all the money for yourself, but it's hard to say. My second favorite would probably be Littlefinger because just because he's a slime ball, but I love it. It's hard to explain. He's like I said before, what you'd expect as the anti-hero. But he's so cunning and swift that I kind of want to see him make it to the end. Just after everyone's dead, maybe he can pick up the crown or something like that. So overall, though, the way that the magic's going, I'm not sure if I'm going to stay on board because kind of like Lost. If you ever watched Lost, it started getting to like magical, not realistic kind of scenarios, and that's where it kind of lost me because it's just so ridiculous that it's hard for me to get into. With the White Walkers and stuff like that, though, it's scary enough and really good CG enough that I might be still interested if something crazy like that, like it's heavily involved with that, but I hope that they keep it to more of a human themed show, I guess, more based on human interaction and political alliance and man-on-man warfare to be, I mean, person on person, but it's also Game of Thrones, so man-on-man warfare. But I'm really excited to see where that goes. I'm holding out hope, but that's why it's number 5 on my list. But I still look forward to seeing this show so much, and I look forward to seeing who wins the Game of Thrones. So thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to tell me what your favorite show is. List your top 5. Because I like watching shows. I like sitting on the couch, so. Yeah, so don't forget to like this video and subscribe to me, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks so much. Bye! Hey guys, my name is Haley. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be telling you about my hair and how I did kind of like a reverse ombre. So instead of lightening the tips, I darkened my roots, and I used 3 things, and it's under $20, and if you're interested in that, because I definitely was, then keep listening and I'll tell you how I did it. So you're going to need 3 things. You're going to need